Welcome to Think Tank powered by Vodacom. Maybe you've managed to resist the World Cup fever up to this point, but you're guaranteed to break into a hot sweat when Heineke Meyer announces his 31-man squad on Friday. And in preparation for that, Tank Lanning has spent the last 117 hours in a Drakensberg cabin with nothing but his slippers and a box of bar ones contemplating the permutations. So without further ado, I give you Team Tank.
Just think of me as Oregon Hoskins. Although we're going to start at the most important people, which are the props. So we're starting at 1, we're going to end at 15. Loosehead props going to the World Cup 2015. Tendai the Beast Mtawarira. Trevor Inyakani. Hookers, Bismarck du Plessis, Adrian Strauss. Tight heads, Yanni du Plessis, Vincent Koch, Frans Malherbe. Locks, Eben Etzebeth, Victor Matfield, Peter Steph du Toit. Flanks, Willem Alberts, Francois Lowe, Marcel Coetzee, Opa Mahoje, Heinrich Brousseau. Scrummies, coming ahead of 8th men, which is strange, so I'll go back to 8th men. Dwayne Vermeulen and Skalk Burger. Scrummies, Friede Prix, Ruan Pienaar and Kobus Reinach. Flyhalves, Andre Pollard, Pat Lambie. Centres, Damon Dallender, Jean de Villiers, Jan Serfontein, Jesse Creel. Wings, Brian Abana, Loazi Mvovo, JP Peterson. Fullbacks, Willie Leroux, Zane Kirshner. 14 backs, 17 forwards, very risky at hooker.
Extremely risky at hooker. I mean, wow. What are we going to do if 20 minutes before kickoff, Bismarck breaks down, tears a fingernail?
When has that ever happened? However, so that's the reason I want to make like Michael Checker and risk 2 hookers. Okay. Because we don't know what Skalk Brits looks like, let alone Scarron Benny. Okay, we have never seen our third hooker.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So
although Skalk did play in that Buenos Aires team.
He did. Yeah. But never ever by a big,
in a serious,
yeah. And he certainly has been contemplated as a proper alternate to Adrian Strauss. So I'm afraid Trevor Nyakani and Vincent Koch, who's also doubling as the other loosehead,
right,
our man Vincent, and we're going with only 5 props, are going to practice throwing at Matfield's, the little burger that they hold, the lollipop. That's what they're doing for the next 3 weeks.
Okay, well, I mean, I like the gutsy call there. I like the fact you're only taking five props. I'm surprised that you, as a prop, are taking only 17 forwards. I think most people are taking 18 in their squad, so that's a great move. I'm a little bit concerned about your backs. Who's kicking for poles?
Indeed. So, I think pertinent to this squad is that our Rugby World Cup bed has been laid.
Yeah.
So this is not necessarily the squad that I would have picked, say, 3 months out.
Sure.
But I just think that, that the bed has been laid. So the probably controversial, and to your point, the long answer is that where are the 2 stands?
Yeah.
And they would be, metronomical in terms of going for polls. But my word, they just haven't played. They haven't been part of the thinking, haven't been part of the squad for various reasons.
Right.
So here we're going with, with Pollard and Lambie. And Lambie wasn't exactly half bad. He didn't miss one last time out. Risky with Pollard.
So do you start Lambie ahead of Pollard? Is Lambie your first choice fly off there?
Look, I think it's either or. I think in last week's show we spoke about that a little bit more in depth. I'm with, I'm in the Pollard should start kind of camp, but I'm certainly wouldn't be that unhappy to see Lambie start and Pollard come on second half, go to the line a little bit more, bring the backs into the game.
Yeah, no, look, I love Pollard's running game. I'm just worried about the inconsistencies in his goal kicking of late. And you've got Kobus Reinach there as your third scrum off, so worst case situation, we could have a 9 that doesn't kick tactically very well and a 10 that can't kick for poles and no fullback who can kick for poles. So, you could get found out there.
Yeah, look, I think there are 3 risky selections. One is up front with Dwayne.
Right.
So I think Heineke will do the same, but he's only going to be ready in game 3.
Yeah.
So therefore you have to have another number 8, which changes the balance of your squad there. So Skalk comes in as the replacement 8. And then you're right. So on scrum off, the other very risky selection is Friede Prix. But we have seen how he's come from not playing any rugby at all and just made such a massive difference.
Game changer.
Yeah. And, I think Heineke would probably do the same, and I'd risk it. So, and therefore, unlike at hooker, where you risk only having 2, I think we're going to have 3 scrummies.
Right.
And the bolter, to my mind, could have been Hougaard. He's just playing fantastic rugby in the Bulls now. The Bulls, we saw on the weekend, they just embraced a whole new game plan, out with France, in with Nolles, in with a kind of new thinking, ball in hand, making use of the trams, just coming from depth.
Yeah.
And Hougaard is flourishing.
Yeah.
So that could be the bolter, where he comes in for runner, but I wasn't quite ballsy enough to do that.
But I mean, Hougaard is playing against guys in the Currie Cup who are the sort of leftovers. You know, Test rugby is a whole different, it's a different ball game. You get smashed back in the tackle, you get gang tackled. There's no space like you've got in the Currie Cup. And Hougaard's kicking game, I think is a good reason not to take him there. Just in terms of the centres, Tank, you've got 4 over there. Do we need 4 centres? Can you not just have Jan or Jesse Creel cover those 2 positions?
Yeah, so that's the other one, is what do you do with Jean de Villiers? Okay, so I've made the call to pick him.
Right.
It's risky. It's another risky call. His hammy should be fine, but we're not sure he's going to take one from. When Nana gives him one to the jaw, he's going to drop like a stone. But so it's also the reason why, one of the reasons why you can't go with France Steyn. It's almost a France Steyn or Jean de Villiers, and I think given what Jean potentially could bring to the squad is why I've gone with Jean, and also why I think we go with 4 centres. Also, we've seen that Creel, potentially not so well at wing, but certainly he's been fantastic at fullback. And then the other balance, probably other controversial selection is Zane. So,
I was going to say.
Yeah, and I just think, he's certainly can play wing and potentially could play centre. So I think what we have in those back 3, and certainly even including centres, are people that can interchange. Which I know is not ideal in the greater scheme of things, but I think at a World Cup, when you've got a limited squad, it tends to make sense.
Versatility will be key.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got only 2 specialist hookers, but you've got 3 open side flankers there. I think you've got 7 or 8 loose forwards.
Indeed. So again, it's about balance. So I've gone with 3 locks, but Willem Alberts, I know his back is shot.
Right.
But if we're going to select Willem Alberts, he needs to come to the party, and so he potentially could play lock.
Yeah.
Oupa Mahoje can definitely play lock, and Peter Steff can certainly play 7.
Sure.
So I think what we've got there is a little bit more balance. I'm of the opinion that if a Francois Lowe does go out, then you certainly need a fetcher to replace him.
Right.
Hence the Heinrich Brousseau selection.
Yeah.
Marcel Coetzee, perhaps a little bit lucky, but again, Heinrich has made his bed there. Siya Kolisi could easily have been the man in that squad, playing a very similar role and to a similar standard. However, Heinrich has made that call, and Marcel's played a lot of tests now, so hence that selection.
There's no doubt that Peter Steff du Toit can jump in the line out. He's an athlete. He can get around the park. He's got great range from sideline to sideline. Does he have the experience to call the line out if Victor goes down? I'm assuming he's the guy that replaces him at 5. And wouldn't it maybe have been better to bring someone like Flip in for calling the line out?
Yeah, I must say, I thought long and hard about that one, and I'm with you. I'm a Flip fan. I think we're in the minority.
Yeah.
I actually think Eben would call those lineouts. So if Matfield went out and he's done that before, I'm not as obsessed about who calls the lineouts as Heineke is, but Heineke definitely is.
Right.
But yeah, Peter Steff would definitely come in at 5, and Loot is unlucky not to make it. But it's just in terms of balance, because Peter Steff brings you a little bit more balance. But then, if Victor was out, Peter Steff came in 5, Eben would call the lineouts.
Nice one, Tank. That's it for this time, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please be sure to stay with us as we continue into the World Cup, and hopefully Heineke's squad is the one that we all want. And keep your questions rolling in using the hashtag ThinkTank. Ciao.